meticulously tacked that ball, got there ahead of the goalkeeper. There was nothing David Clark could do about it, or Ger Cafferty. Sheer determination won that for Michael Murphy, and now he's fully determined with his Donegal colleagues now to hold on to the lead and to take the cup back to Donegal for the second time ever. Murphy once again loses it this time. Cafferty has it, kicks it down. They need scores urgently now, Mayo. They're getting nothing easily, however. Cillian O'Connor dragged down this time by Paddy McGrath, free in.
A lot of people in Donegal have been critical of Murphy this year, that he hasn't been scoring enough, but he's exercising a decisive influence on the outcome today.
Well, Mayo haven't scored yet from play in this second half, but they need scores from somewhere. Aidan O'Shea trying to get possession, looking to play it to a loose player, a spare player in the red and green of Mayo, and it's eventually Cillian O'Connor who kicks it waywardly away to the left-hand side. And they're almost running out of gas, this particular Mayo team, in this challenge, and it's almost 11 minutes since they last scored.
It is, yes, and it's incumbent on the subs that come in, the Jason Givens, the Alan Freemans, and Richie Feeney's at this time to infuse a little bit more energy into the team. Lots of other fellas have emptied the tank nearly at this stage. It's big last 10, 15, whatever it is, 9 or 10 minutes for Mayo.
Well, that's the Sunday game, of course. It's on tonight, 9:30 with Des Cahill. We'll be at the Winners Hotel. And don't forget, before that, good radio programmes. Brian Carty at just after 6 on Radio 1, Championship programme, and then Damien O'Reilly with Take Your Point at 7. Your chance to comment on what you see today in the 2012 final. Lee Keegan for Mayo. Played in here towards Donald Vaughan, couldn't take it. Instead it is a very dominant looking Donegal side now, and Eamon McGee in command. And they're playing it out here with sheer determination and a swagger and a style which has been part and parcel of their play all season. McElhenney diagonally across, asking an awful lot of McFadden, and he chases after that one. It went off the boot of Kevin Kane. It's going to be a line ball for Donegal, who are now just about 6.5 minutes away from the final whistle, or close to it, and they've that 2-goal cushion the whole time, and those 2 vital goals coming in the opening 11 minutes of this game. McFadden getting the second of those. Kicks it in, goes very long. It won't matter a great deal at this stage because they have that comfortable lead, and Michael Murphy taking umbrage with something that happened there involving Kevin Kane. Mayo kick it out quickly, out to Alan Dillon. Played in the final of 2004 and scored a goal that day. Played in 2006, lost those 2 finals, and it's not looking too good here, but there is still time, and you never know. Here's Kevin McLaughlin. Everybody for Donegal virtually back there, the kind of blanket defence, but Richie Feeney trying to steal a march on them all, onto the right and hitting it over the bar. His second ever championship point, and a valuable contribution. It just about keeps Mayo going here. 5 between them once again, but now the time ticking down to about 5 minutes from the finish. His family steeped in the traditions of Gaelic games in Mayo, and the Mayo fans here just trying to raise a cheer once again now to get right behind the team if they can win some primary possession in and around midfield, because Donegal have been known in the past to take their foot off the pedal metaphorically for the last few minutes. Lee Keegan advancing, hitting with some difficulty. It's up into the air. Oh, lands on the netting and goes over the bar. Amazingly, highly ambitious. Well, he is a great driving force, Lee Keegan, the 22-year-old from Westport, playing today in his 7th championship match. Down it came, bang onto the netting, and now it's a 4-point game, and nobody's giving up just yet where Mayo's concerned.
An absolute beauty, and I just talked a couple of moments ago about the impact the subs needed to make. Richie Feeney in the last 2 plays has contributed a point and assist that time. They need 1 or 2 more.
Paul Durkin again. They need to win this one, and they do. Back down to Colin Boyle, sending it in long. Remember, Aidan O'Shea's in there now, but then Donegal have got a covering back in front of him. Very clever tactics. They have a lot of players back, and Donegal hold the possession here now, will weather this little storm and realise there is still some work to do. Rory Kavanagh. They've been through many a crisis in the last couple of years. came back from that horrible beating against Armagh 2 years ago in the Championship, on the same day that Mayo were knocked out by Longford. And 20 of the 30 players who played that day are in action in this All-Ireland final. It's still Donegal and it's still David Walsh. Again they try and work it forward. Christy Toy now, battle-hardened warrior over the years, going nowhere because he's surrounded by Mayo players, but it's back to David Walsh once more. Now Neil Gallagher, space on the left-hand side. Frank McGlynn cleverly using that space. Back in again, he comes towards him. Beautifully constructed, neatly choreographed and finished by Neil Gallagher, knocking it over the bar. The big, physically imposing midfielder gets up to get just his first point in this match, the third in this year's championship. 3 or 4 players involved, and that could be very, very important. Highly decisive, I would think.
I'd agree with you, Jerk. It's the decisive score of the match, and it has probably set the seal for a Donegal victory.
Back come Mayo. Richie Feeney once again. Jerk Cafferty trying to join the attack. Likewise Keith Higgins, and while they were considering their move, the ball was stolen by Donegal and swiftly forward by McElhenney once more. Christy Toy, who was the architect of that last attack, holding it up here now. Just a steadying influence in and around midfield, able to hold the ball, shave a few seconds off the clock as we get closer and closer to 70 minutes. 68 minutes gone, and once again it's Rory Kavanagh sending it in as far as Carol Lacey. Lacey just holding it, taking it back from McElhenney. Again, trying to locate a colleague, but that time picking out Feeney. And on now as far as McLaughlin. Mayo need a goal. 2 against 2, and there's an extra player going back to help out. In fact, 2. Thompson, the other extra player who went back for Donegal. When there's a sniff of danger, they all go back and they shoulder the responsibility collectively.
Yeah, but the collective work that time with Freeman and Aiden wasn't that, was poor, because if one of them had gone for the ball, the other broken it, I think something more could have come of it.
Donal Vaughan, back to Cafferty. In here as far as Killian O'Connor. All his points have come from frees when he was in around full forward. Jason Gibbons hitting it long, very neatly so, over the bar. Really good play by Jason Gibbons there, and Jason Gibbons getting his first ever championship point. But is it far too late and far too little, because there are still 4 between them?
Yeah, Donegal at the moment looks set fair to win this game. Mayo will need a goal, obviously what I'm saying, but they'll need a goal or 2, I think, to win this game. And I cannot see them overcoming them by scoring 5 points in the last couple of minutes.
Well, Shamie O'Shea has come on for Barry Mullen, getting a few minutes of action here as Kevin McLaughlin carries it forward once again in the 70th minute of this final, where Mayo made an awful start, battled hard to get themselves back into it, but there was always that gap. Closest they could get to it for about 3 minutes. Maybe here, you never know. Still possible. Stumbling, falling, and eventually the referee has gone in from a distance and said play on, and Mayo looked like they were lining up for a score there. You had Shamie O'Shea and you had Jason Gibbons in there, foraging, waiting. 3 minutes of added time are going to be played as we watch this again. Alan Freeman, Shamie O'Shea, down went Rory Kavanagh. Still it was Shamie O'Shea.
Yeah, I think in fairness Shamie lost his balance that time. I don't think he was fouled, and Durkin is perfectly entitled to gather the ball inside the small right angle like that.
No question about it. He did stumble, and the goalkeeper was, as you say, absolutely entitled to do what he did. And the end result, a free out. So 30 seconds of the opening 3 minutes of added time is now being played, and there's the Sam Maguire Cup, first presented in 1928, and the first winners were Kildare. Will the latest winners be Donegal? Into stoppage time, and once again it is Mayo awarded a free kick, and it's going to be taken here by Shamie O'Shea. Better hurry. They need a couple of quick goals, and I don't think it's going to happen for them, because this is a mean, resolute Donegal defence, and down went Anthony Tompkins under the weight of that challenge.
Yes, and this suits Donegal perfectly. Aidan O'Shea came in that time, fouled Anthony Thompson, probably will take a booking as a consequence. and slows the game down, and perfect for Donegal.
It's of no benefit whatsoever to Mayo, that's for sure, as they are set, it seems, to lose what will be their third final in 7 years. And a long, long line of disappointments as O'Shea gets the yellow card. It'll be their 6th All-Ireland final defeat in 23 years since their last victory some 61 years ago, and counting at this point in time. Dermot the Brick Malloy has come on, and he's come on in place there of I think it's Martin McElhenney who's come off for the last couple of minutes. It's a case of giving Dermot an opportunity to share in the glory, and that's what it's set to be in about another minute's time. And it's a free kick to Donegal. They were the favourites coming into this. Many people said, how could Jim McGuinness possibly shield his players from all that was happening around them? The county was on fate. There were people coming from all over the world to see Donegal win what will be a second All-Ireland championship. They kept their feet on the ground, they were resolute and determined, and they have engineered what is certainly a marvellous victory. And finally it's Rory Kavanagh kicking, and Rory Kavanagh puts that one to the left. It's not going to matter very much, other than that it's the 7th wide. And now we wait for Jim McGuinness and his team to take the salute of the crowd. 15 seconds to go. Referee's looked at his watch. He's going to play at least 3 minutes. It's sheer agony for Mayo and their followers. No county deserves to lose like they have lost, but it happens, that's sport, and we all know about that. They ran into a very, very tough Donegal team as Michael Murphy went down injured. It's all over, and Donegal are the All-Ireland champions. They'll leap for joy. Jim McGuinness there, Rory Gallagher, I should say. 20 years on from the day the Tyrconnell men won their first, they've won another. Then it was Brian McAniff calling the shots, and now it's Jim McGuinness has guided a group of talented, highly motivated players. He's challenged them to do it his way, and the players have bought into the notion, and they've realised their potential, and the crowds are staying off the field. It must be very hard for them. This Donegal side has beaten Mayo, and it's abject misery for the Connacht champions. But today's day is for Jim McGuinness and for Donegal. They've done it from a near empty base 2 years ago in Crossmaglen, where they lost a qualifier to Armagh, and they've come through 2 Ulster campaigns unbeaten to inflict yet another final defeat on Loch Mayo. They'll be taking that Sam Maguire Cup home. Donegal the masters, Donegal the champions. Jim has done it, they've all done it. Donegal are the new winners of the Sam Maguire, and an emotional, quite emotional tsunami is set to sweep over Donegal. More misery, however, for Mayo.